Hello, welcome to COM 2026. Today we're going to talk about looping. We're going to go through what's the basic of looping and while loop, do while loop, for loop, enhance the for loop. These four different types of loops. Then we will talk about break and continue. Afterward, we will talk about the nesting. So loop basically is to repeat your code again and again. It loops depends on the condition. If the condition is true, the loop will go on. If the condition is false, the loop will end. It works very similar to the if else, such that um, in an if statement, you can have one statement to put inside the if block or more than one. In a loop, we can have one statement in the loop or multiple statements in the loop. If you have multiple statements, or if you have many lines of statements inside a loop or inside an if block, you need to enclose them with a curly braces. This section of code that being put inside a loop is typically called the loop body. There are four types of loop in Java, namely the while loop, do while loop, for loop, and the enhanced for loop. We'll go through the while loop and do while loop in this video. And then in the next video, we will talk about for loop and enhanced for loop. So, what is do loop and while loop, do while loop? Basically, the syntax is here. In while loop, we have a while followed by a loop condition inside parentheses, and then our curly braces. Inside the curly braces, that will be our loop body. In a do while loop, we'll start with the do keyword and then the curly braces, which contain our loop body, followed by the keyword while and the condition. Don't forget this semicolon. Okay, there's subtle difference between this while loop and do while loop. Let's take a closer look of these two. In while loop, okay, we will execute the body if the condition is true. The loop condition will be tested before executing the loop body. If the loop condition is false for the first time, the body would not be executed at all. Take a look at this example. Let's say ask X start with the number 99. Okay, and then it goes through this loop and check whether the value of 99 is larger than 1. Yes, this is. So 99 will be divided by 2, so it will become 44, and I'll put it inside X. And then we're going to print this one. This is love me. Yes, this is true at the beginning. So she loves me. Okay, and then loves me will be turned to not love me, which is false. And the entire things will come back to this while, and we're going to check whether x is larger than 1 or not. The second time we go to this loop, x become 44. 44 is still larger than 1, so we will execute this statement again. 44 divided by 2, that will become 22. And we put this 22 inside x. And then we're going to ask, print this one, say, she love me or not. Well, this time love me will be false, so we say, she does not love me. And then, well, love me become false, and inverted again, love me become true, and so on. Now, this statement will keep looping until the condition x larger than 1 is not true. When would that happen? Well, if x equals to 1 or x equals to 0, that this loop will end. Do while loop. Do while loop will be very similar to while loop, except that the condition being checked is the end of the loop. We will execute the loop body for at least one time and then we'll come to the loop checking. And um, and basically what it is different than the while loop is we switch the order of the test of condition and the loop body. And we will also loop back to the condition if the condition is true. And we'll loop back to the top of the loop if the condition is true. So look at this one. Character gray. We don't know where is the value of gray, but we can start doing loop. And we say take COM2026. Gray will be assigned with the value of result. Now let's assume this result function, this method, okay, will return you a values and assign you a gray. All right, so gray could take the values of A, B, C, D, F, etc. Now this part will be executed again if gray equals to F. Apparently, if you fail the course, you need to retake, right? So it go back and do it again, and you have a new gray, and we check whether this gray is F. If it's F, you need to do it again until you have a gray not equal to F. Now, in this example, please don't forget we need to have a semicolon after the while and the condition. In while loop, we don't need the semicolon after the while. Okay, but in a do while loop, we do need that. So the difference between the while loop and do while loop, both of them will evaluate the loop condition. Okay, it will be very similar as the if conditions. So if it works, if the condition matches, we run the code. If the condition does not match, we do not run the code. Okay. We can also use different logical operators, let's say and, or, not, to combine with different um, subconditions. The difference between these two will be while loop, it may not execute the loop body at all. The loop condition will be tested before the loop body. And therefore, the loop variable must be set before the loop entry. In do while loop, on the other hand, okay, the body will always be executed for at least one time, regardlessly what the values of the conditions. The loop condition will be tested at the bottom of the loop, and we must always put a semicolon after the while. In both loops, they will stop executing the loop body if the loop condition is false. We must make sure the loop condition becomes false by some computation. Otherwise, it will cause us an infinite loop. What does that mean by an infinite loop? An infinite loop is a loop that will never turn the condition to false. That is, the exit condition will never meet. In some occasion, your program may be freezed out. This is an example of infinite loop. So assume we're in a prison, okay, like these people. And we say, oh, I need to stay in here for another how many days? Let's say initially we have 10 days for our imprisonments. Okay, so we're going to decrement the day from 10 to 9, 9 to 8, 8 to 7. as long as the day is still larger than 0. Now, if the day reach 1, we will going to have a farewell party, and then we'll get caught and extend the penalty. Okay, so days will increase by 10, and then we will simply reset our imprisonment from 1 to 11, and then we need to uh, stay in the prison. And these will never end. And we call this is a infinite loop. So how do we do? What can we do? We need a prison break. So what is a break? How to break from an infinite loop? We can use a break statement. Now, if you can remember, break happens that it can appears in a switch statement or a loop. When we have a break in a switch statement, what a break does is it will jump to the end of the switch and execute the rest of the methods. When we use it inside a loop, what a break does is a break will bring us exit the loop immediately and execute the rest of the method. This break can be applied in while, do while, for, or enhanced for loops. So let's take a look of the example we have just talked about. And let's say here we have an infinite loop, but this time we say if days equals to 8, we will have a break. Now, what does that break does? If we have executing this part and we have a break, this break will bring us out of the loop. So it will reach this part of the code. Continue statement is a complement of break. It works very similar to break, except that in continue, it skips the remaining statement in the loop body, and then it go back to the condition checking. Continue must only appear in the loop. Okay, continue should not appear in the switch statement. Of course, in your loop, you can have a break, you can have a continue, you can have both of them, or you can have neither of them. After continue, the condition of the loop will be checked again. Okay, and the loop will end if the condition is false. So take a look of this example. We say enter your age. If the age is less than 12, we will say, oh, you're not old enough, so we will continue the loop. What does that mean? It will loop back to the for. So look at the result we enter here. Enter your age and assume the user entered 10. What's happening is age is less than 12, so we'll print out you're not old enough. And then this continue will bring us back to here, age less than 12. Okay, and you say, oh, the condition is true, so we will loop back to this 2. Okay, and then we'll try it again, and we'll say 15 this time. So this condition is not fulfilled. We'll go to the next one. Okay, and then this time age is equal to 15, so we'll simply escape from this loop. So when we compare break and continue, both break and continue will skip the remaining loop body. Break will exit the loop regardless of the condition. Continue will exit the loop only if the condition is false. Otherwise, it's going to repeat it. Continue cannot be used in a switch. And continue. Switch is not a loop. Okay, so as a quick summary, we have just go through while loop, do while loop, break, and continue. In the next video, we will talk about for loop. We will see you next time. Goodbye.